Hi. Good start. Anyways, so um so Fast X is out. It's here. Wow, fucking awesome. So excited to talk about Fast and Furious. Since the year has started, I've only reviewed one original film, which was Megan. Other than that, I reviewed sequels and prequels and quackles and all that shit. And you know, it's I have nothing against sequels, but I want to read something original, and I feel bad because I missed Beau is Afraid. I will, even though it's gonna be very late, I will review Beau is Afraid when I watch it, when I rent it. I will review it because why not? Fast X. Debbie Ryan was in this movie. I think that was her. I'm pretty sure that was her. Which was why? What the fuck? Why the fuck is Radio Rebel in this movie? Anyways, so let's talk about this bitch. This bitch meaning this film, not Debbie Ryan. I'm sure she's really nice. Anyways, so I don't know if I've mentioned this on the channel before. I think I have, but in case I haven't, I have seen every single Fast and Furious movie. And I know that's really not something to brag about. A lot of people have done that. But like if you have done that, I feel like you deserve some kind of award because I don't know, these movies are just so fucking watching them all back to back to back is a pretty exhausting experience. See what happened was when the ninth one came out, I had just started working at a movie theater, and I saw that a lot of people were showing up for Fast and Furious 9. And I thought to myself, like, well, a lot of people are showing up for this film, and they made 9 of them, so they must be good, right? Maybe they're not good, but there's got to be something to them that keeps people coming back every single time and keeps. And, there's got to be something about them that we're like, we got to make more of these because people keep seeing them. Like, what is it about these films that people like? So I said, fuck it. And me and my dad watched every single movie back to back to back. And then we saw F9 in the theater. Dog shit. This series, I have the same opinion about it as everybody else does. It starts out about racing and kind of crimes. And then as it goes on, they become like they become criminals, and then they join this agency and they stop bad guy. It's just I don't fucking know. By the eighth one, they're like spies or some shit. I don't fucking know. They're like working for Kurt Russell, Mr. Nobody. I don't fucking know. And by this movie, they're terrorists. Not really, but they're made to look like them. Spoiler, whatever. Um, to be honest with you, I I like these movies. I do. I know that they're not good. None of them are good. There's not a single movie in this franchise, not even like the first one, where I would genuinely consider it like a good movie. Because they're not. They're all fucking terrible. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with these movies being what they are. I'm totally fine with these movies being super over the top and campy and dumb. Now, I don't think that that makes them like immune to criticism, but I don't look at these movies the same way I look at something like I don't know, like a Star Wars movie. I really like. I care about that. Like I really care, and I want to see it done right. I want to appreciate the good and still acknowledge the bad. With this series, I don't give a fuck. I just want to be entertained. I want to laugh at how bad the dialogue is, and I just want to enjoy myself. And with these movies, I usually do, especially with the second half. Like the first two, I was like, I know they get better apparently, but these are fucking boring. And then the third one is really funny with the Yakuza. Instead of like settling everything by just killing them, they decide to have a drag race. Fuck. And then Fast and Furious 4, I'll be honest, I don't fucking remember a single thing about Fast and Furious 4. I know I watched it. I don't fucking remember nothing about it. Fast 5 is probably the best one. I like The Rock in that movie. He has some great lines like, I like my dessert first, and give me the damn veggies. Great. I love the fight between Vin Diesel and The Rock in that movie. It's funny. Fast and Furious 6 is like the average Fast and Furious movie. It's fine. Furious 7, honestly, I think I might consider that one probably the best one. I don't know. It's still not a good movie, but it's probably the best one. Like in terms of how it's made. It's probably the most competent. And it had I don't know. It's just like it has a nice little tribute to Paul Walker at the end that I like. Paul Walker's daughter's in this one, which is pretty cool. I like that. And then Fate of the Furious, fucking terrible title. That one's really funny. Charlize Theron's hair looks terrible in that movie. She's wearing like dreads or something. And they hijack a submarine, and the fucking Jason Statham is shooting people with a baby. I don't fucking know what's happening anymore. Jason Statham literally tried to kill Dom and his family the last movie, and now in this movie, everything they're just cool with each other. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know, dude. And then Hobbs and Shaw. Hobbs and Shaw is like, let's be real here. It was really just made to get The Rock and Jason Statham in a movie together. Like you could have just called it The Rock and Jason Statham in a movie, and people would have gone to see it. But I think they're just like, you know what? Let's add the Fast and Furious name to it because fuck it. I do like that one though. I know a lot of people don't like that one, but I think it's okay. It's fine. And then F9 was one of the weaker ones. Too many flashbacks, just fucking dumb. Them going to space, I don't fucking know. They kind of lost me. I know this series, I'm not supposed to take it seriously, but I'm like, they went to fucking space. I mean, I don't know. For some reason, maybe I was just drained by that point. Maybe I was just so tired of the series. But honestly, I wasn't that shocked when they went into space because I watched all these movies back to back to back. So when they went into space, I was just kind of like, all right, they're in space now. That's cool. I'm at the point with this series where like, listen, this is the 10th movie. Like, I'm not gonna quit now. I'm gonna finish this series. Apparently, they want to end it with two more after this. They want it to be like a 3-part finale or some shit. And the sad part is, I'm gonna stay for all of it. Like, I'm gonna be there for the rest of it because I've been here long enough. So it's like I have to do this. It's like something I'm basically obligated to do. Um. Anyway, let's get to Fast X now. I've been rambling on about this series. And I do like it. I do genuinely like it. And I honestly, the characters I'm like, I guess I'll be honest with you, for me, it's pretty easy for me to get attached to characters when I spend enough time with them. And these characters, they're not great. They're not like well written or anything, but I guess I've spent so much time with them at this point that I'm like, yeah, I guess I care. It's nice to see them. It's nice. Sure. So with Fast X, I'm gonna start off non-spoiler. It's Fast and Furious. You don't need to fucking worry about spoilers, but I'm gonna start out non-spoiler and then we'll get into spoilers as it goes on. Um, I think this movie is. I mean, I'm not gonna review this as a real movie because that'd be a waste of time. As a real movie, probably like a 2 out of 10 or some shit. But I'm gonna review it as a Fast and Furious movie because I'm gonna admit it. I'm a Fast and Furious fan. I am. I'm not gonna act like I'm above these movies. I'm not gonna act like because they are bad. They're bad, but I enjoy them more than I don't. I have a good time with them. So I'm a Fast and Furious fan. I'm gonna say I am. So I'm gonna come to this review from a perspective of a Fast and Furious fan. Pretend this hat says family on it. So, and of course I'm wearing a white shirt because Dom wears white shirts, even though his is different than mine. I don't have like, what are they called? Wife beaters? Why the fuck are they called wife beaters? That's a terrible name. Anyways, um, fuck. So this movie is, it was better than F9 for sure. F9, I felt like there were so many flashbacks and I don't know. I felt like the movie just didn't entertain me as much as the other ones. I was just kind of like, and it really wasted John Cena, and it had a weak ass villain. This movie, I think, is a big improvement over F9, and I like this movie. I think it's fun. Um, I will say the dialogue was never great in Fast and Furious, but in this one in particular, it is fucking terrible. Like genuinely, some of it feels like it was written by AI. Like some of it seems like, oh, these characters are like this. This is what Dominic Toretto would say, and it was written by AI. There's one at the end that is just like, there's no fucking way a real human being wrote that line. Um, but this movie, is I don't know. It's hard to review this movie. It's Fast X. It's fucking ridiculous. and crazy and loud and has a bunch of bullshit going on the whole time, and you're just like, okay, you know. The characters in this movie are separated a lot of the time, and I gotta tell you, these characters, listen, I they were never really complex or well written, but more and more these characters are starting to feel more and more hollow. They're starting to feel less like characters and more just like action figures that are used to just be put in big action scenes. In the other ones, they had personality. Like Dom started out like he wasn't like super charismatic, but now the character is just so stoic. He's just like he just kind of grumbles throughout the whole movie. You know, Letty doesn't really do anything in this movie. The only characters with any besides someone who we'll get to, the only characters with any real personality in this movie are Roman and Tej, but their stick got really old to me. Like they just like their stick in this movie, which is their stick in the last 5 movies, is that they just argue a lot. They argue a lot and they argue and they argue and they keep bickering at each other. And it started out kind of funny like 5 movies ago, but at this point, it's just old and tired, and you're just like, ugh, like I'm just sick of it. Like just shut the fuck up. Han doesn't do anything in this movie. In the last movie, he came back and he had a lot of screen time. In this movie, like, he doesn't do shit. And that credit scene in the last one, which is really cool, it amounts to like a 2-minute thing in this one. Like, it doesn't really mean much. And it doesn't even come in until like halfway through the movie. And by the time it's done, you're just like, oh, that was it? Okay. Holy shit, this hat. Jason Statham, who's one of my favorite characters in the series, he's in this for like 2 minutes. He's in the movie and then he's out, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna come back later, but he didn't. It was so weird. I guess I'm kind of spoiling this movie now, but whatever. John Cena. I love John Cena as an actor. I think I've said this, but he's one of my favorite wrestlers, and as an actor, I love him. I think he's great. I've never seen John Cena. I mean, he's never given me like an Oscar-worthy performance. Given me, what a shitty thing to say. He's never, to me, I've never seen him like give like an amazing performance, um, but he's always been very charismatic and very funny and very good in everything I've seen him in. Like Fred the movie. And in this movie, he's so much more dynamic and fun to watch than he was in F9. In F9, he was just generic bad guy number 12. In this one, it's so funny because he's taking care of Dom's kid, and it cuts back to them. It doesn't feel like I'm watching a Fast and Furious movie. It feels like I'm watching like Home Alone or something. It's so funny. And it's just so funny. It feels like a completely different movie. It's like I'm watching fucking My Spy or something. It's so weird. I'm like, this ain't Fast and Furious, but whatever. I don't give a shit. In the eighth one, Jason Statham was shooting people, and there was a baby in this like car seat or something. So what the fuck? Who gives a shit? Like what the like? Why am I complaining about this shit? I'm having fun. The kid, I'm pretty sure he killed like 10 people in this movie. I'm pretty sure. Someone please tell me if he didn't. Maybe those cars were remote controlled, but I'm pretty sure that kid killed people. Cypher, I don't fucking dude. Cypher is the most like boring villain in storytelling history. Like she does nothing. I don't even know why she's in these movies anymore, other than Charlize Theron's a big name actress. I love Charlize Theron because she acts in these like Oscar movies, and then every so often when she needs a paycheck, she comes back to Fast and Furious. And really, like she hasn't done anything super substantial since like the eighth one. In the ninth one, she was just in this ice cube the whole time. And in this one, I guess she kind of joins the good guys, kind of. Sorry, I guess that's a spoiler. Fuck it. I'm just gonna go into spoilers now. Spoilers. Jesus. So, yeah, this movie is like, I guess it's a part one, or I guess originally it was supposed to be it was a 2-part finale, but at the last second they're like, well, now it's a 3-part finale. And this movie, kind of like Dune, 2 years ago, this movie doesn't have an ending. It literally does not have an ending. It just stops. Like it literally just stops in the middle of the climax, and it ends, and you're just like, I mean, I knew the movie would end on a cliffhanger. That's fine, but it reminded me of The Desolation of Smaug, where you're just like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna go home now and wait 2 years to see where that goes. All the characters die at the end, but I'm pretty sure none of them are. There's no fucking way Roman, Tej, and Ramsey are all dead. That's another thing. Ramsey, why is she even here? She doesn't do anything in these movies. She does nothing, and that sucks because I like Nathalie Emmanuel, but like she doesn't do anything in these movies. You know, she's just kind of there, and there's already a hacker on the team. Like, why is she here? But anyways, like I don't know. Like I said, these characters they feel very hollow. It's hard for me to really care for them because not that they were great before, but I feel like before they had more personality and more interesting things to say. And this one, they don't really do anything. They just kind of jump around and explode and all that, and it's cool, but none of the characters feel very different from each other. You know, they're all kind of the same when you get down to it. They're all karate masters who just kind of crack jokes. I almost said quack jokes. They're all just kind of these badasses who crack jokes, and that's kind of it. You know, that's kind of all there is to their characters. They're all pretty much the same. They don't really change or anything. So it just makes them feel not as interesting. The characters just aren't very diverse in terms of their personality. Like, there's nothing that really separates, like, Han and, like, Shaw. They're the same personality, really. They both shoot people and they fight. There's nothing. No, that's it. And I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I think like we're getting to a point with the Fast and Furious series where like I feel like they're running out of ideas. Like in the last one, they had dumb shit, but at least they had stuff where I'm like, I guess I haven't seen that in this series yet. But with this one, all this stuff that happened, it's like I've kind of seen all this before. Like in the opening of the movie, they have like this bomb that's like attached to the back of a car and it's going through the city, and I'm like, yeah, this is just a different variation of something they did in Fast Five. And then you have a car, Dom driving a car, backing out of like a helicopter or a ship or not a ship, like a plane or something. And it's like, yeah, I saw that in Furious 7. I don't know. There's some cool stunts, though. I don't know. I guess the action Fast and Furious is not impressive to me. I mean, it's funny. It's funny to look at, but like to me, it's like Mission Impossible. Like Tom Cruise is really doing all that crazy shit. He's really hanging off the side of that plane. And he's really riding that motorcycle. In this one, you can just tell all the actors are just against a green screen, and it's just I don't know. The thrill is just not really there for me as much as it is for other films. And John Wick, you really can like the choreography just feels so real, you know. I'm not saying the actors have to kill themselves for this movie, but all the action just I don't know. It's fun to watch. It is, but I don't know. It's just I guess I'm expecting too much. It's fine, whatever. I really don't know how to review this. This is the hardest. I swear to God, this is the hardest movie I've ever had to review because normally I review stuff for the story, but what fucking story am I going to talk about here? You know? So the movie ends. It ends on like a cliffhanger, and you're just like, okay, well, I guess I'll wait 2 years to see if Dom and his kid died from that explosion, and I guess I'll wait to see. There's no fucking way that Roman, Tej, and Ramsey are dead. John Cena was my favorite character. I was actually kind of pissed when they killed him, but knowing this series, he'll be fine because nobody stays dead. And then at the very end of the movie, Cypher and Letty are leaving, and they find the submarine, and Giselle is there, played by Gal Gadot. And I'm like, oh, she was alive. I've known this for like 3 years. I predicted, I'm like, yeah, she's going to be alive. And she was. Nobody ever fucking stays dead in these movies except for Vince. Vince is the only character that stayed dead, which is pretty sad. And then the mid-credit scene is The Rock, which everybody knew. They already said. Anytime there's a mid-credit scene with The Rock in it, you know about it like a month before the movie comes out. It was pretty cool, but you can tell it was filmed like way after the rest of the movie was filmed. It was probably a last-minute thing. The whole movie was basically just a setup for another movie. Like nothing is resolved in this movie. Nothing. You know? It just kind of stops. It doesn't end, it just stops, you know? At least with Dune, you're like, okay, well, it kind of stopped in the middle of that movie too, but at least with Dune, you're like, you know what? I know the setup for the next movie, and I'm excited for that. This one doesn't have any setup. It just like straight up like we're done. It's over. It just stops. There's no setup for anything. It just stops in the middle of it. It's just like a wall. Dune was like a kind of paving the road ahead. This one just feels like there's a wall. You know what I mean? In between this one and the next one. I don't know. It was just weird. But I admire this movie. Fast and Furious is at the point where they're at their 10th movie. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They really can. So they can end their movie. They don't even have to end their movie. They're just like, we're just gonna stop and we'll continue it in the next one. Now I'm gonna talk about my favorite part of this movie. 20 minutes into this review. Goddamn. My favorite part of this movie is Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa is so goddamn funny in this movie. You can just tell he's having a great time. He just really loves being this character. He is so over the top. There's a scene where he's painting the toenails of like a dead body and he's hanging out with them and talking with them. And I'm like, this is a fucking Batman villain. You know what I mean? And he's probably my favorite Fast and Furious villain, to be honest with you. He's so funny. He has so many funny, like, he has so many lines that aren't that, like, clever or well written. But at the same time, I'm like, there's no way the people who wrote the Fast and Furious movies wrote this guy's dialogue. There's no fucking way. You know what I mean? There's no way fucking Vin Diesel came up with this dialogue. It's so funny. He's so funny. He's probably the best part of the movie. He's the most dynamic and entertaining part because he's just so evil and he has like no complexity to this character. He's just so fucking goofy that I love him. So yeah, Jason Momoa is the best part of this movie, to be honest with you. And that's really it. This movie, Fast and Furious, is Fast and Furious. If you enjoy the other ones, you're gonna like this one too. And I did. I have my issues with it. But you know, I wish the characters had a little more. They felt a little different from each other, and I wish the action felt a little more real. But at the end of the day, I had a fun time. It's Fast and Furious. Like, what do you want? When I got home, my mom was like, "Hey, was it good or bad?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a Fast and Furious movie." And she's like, "What does that mean?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Like, I don't know if it was good or bad. It was a Fast and Furious movie." It's hard to rate this movie. I don't know what the fuck to give this movie. Like, as a real movie, I'd probably give it like a 2. But as a Fast and Furious movie, I'll give it like a 6. Yeah, that sounds right. I enjoyed this movie. I like Fast and Furious. I like these characters. I enjoy the action. I enjoy the big dumb spectacle to it. I like the drag races. Brie Larson was in this movie. That was cool. I like John Cena in this movie. He has one scene where he just punches a bunch of guys, and that was cool, through a house. You know, you'd think they'd move out of that house, considering it got fucking exploded in the 7th movie. Everybody fucking knows where they live. You think they'd move. I don't know. It felt like a telenovela at some points with all the fucking Mexican music. They had a drag race scene in this. I love whenever it's so funny whenever like every single Fast and Furious movie, every single one has like at least like 3 shots of just some woman's ass, and it's so funny. I could just picture the director going like, "Okay, get a little closer. Okay, good, good. Yep, just keep. Yeah, yeah. All right, guys, this is gonna look great for the montage." And I'm just like, "Oh man, these movies are so fucking funny." These movies they're funny. I enjoy them for what they are. I really do. So yeah, Fast X. I know I sound like I bitched a lot in this review, but it's Fast and Furious. Like, none of my criticisms fucking matter. It's Fast and Furious. Yeah, this one really was just a setup for the next one, but that's fine. It still had some fucking stupid fun action. I hope in the next 2 they have more creative action sequences. You know. Yeah. All right. Blech. I don't know what the next review is gonna be. I really don't know. I really don't know. I think The Little Mermaid? I don't fucking know. Whatever. Thank y'all for watching Fast X. Yeah, these movies, I like these movies. and I'm not afraid to say that. I'm a Fast and Furious fan. Deal with it.